if you are out by a little bit and it causes an incident, or you're out by a lot and causes an incident, it's just a degree of the penalty in which you will face. At the end of the day, people have to be safe. It's not an answer to say, I was only a little bit out. At the end of the day, you've got to be within the specifications. If there is a serious injury or fatality, usually that will result in quite an extensive investigation. That investigation will often lead to, if it is a fatality, a coronial inquest. A lot of scrutiny on the organisation are involved, and all the individuals and organisations involved. There'll be a lot of media attention, there'll be a lot of attention by unions, there'll be a lot of attention by members of the public. It's a long drawn out process that often culminates in a prosecution. It might be a prosecution of the company, it might be a prosecution of individuals like officers of the company, and there are personal liability provisions and personal duties under this legislation in relation to failure to exercise due diligence to ensure compliance by the company. So in addition to the penalties that can be dished out here, which are up to $3 million and 5 years imprisonment for individuals, the loss of reputation will be significant. The financial losses associated with the incident are likely to be significant. So it's not just the penalties that are involved in relation to an incident, which are significant in their own right, $3 million, up to 5 years imprisonment. It's the loss of reputation. It's the commercial losses associated with health and safety incidents. I noticed recently that the shareholders of BP sued the management of BP in relation to the way in which they managed the company in the lead up to the Deepwater Horizon incident. Now, if that trend takes hold in Australia, you're going to see a lot more litigation, people being held accountable for the way in which they're managing issues to do with health and safety. Now, the reason that the BP shareholders sued the BP management is because the BP share price tumbled by 40% in the aftermath of that incident. Now, of course, that's a high-profile incident, but we don't have to go very far to find similar examples here in Australia. Everyone remembers the Australian fatality, Joel Exner. That was a fall-from-height incident. It damaged the reputation of a very reputable company. This is the sort of stuff you don't want associated with your brand. Every incident is a tragedy. Every fatal incident is a tragedy. You are looking at a situation where, in addition to the family of the deceased, who obviously will be traumatised, all their work colleagues will be there, having observed that loss, will be traumatised. The reputation of the organisation will be damaged, and I often have to be called in relation to fatalities. I often have to deal with that grief. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be in a situation where your negligence has caused the death of somebody, the loss of life. You don't want to be the manager who failed to make the decision that resulted in one of your workers not going home to their families.